A waitress at a Waffle House in Lombard, Texas, went to work as usual one morning. Everything seemed normal until something unexpected happened. One of the regular customers, Laura Wolf, noticed something strange and started taking pictures with her phone. The restaurant was busier than usual, and it felt like more people from the town were there than usual. The servers scrambled to keep up with all the breakfast orders during the morning rush, and Laura kept her eye on all of them. As a regular visitor to this particular Waffle House, Laura Wolf had gotten to know some of the employees' names. One of the waitresses working on this especially busy morning was a woman named Yvonne Williams. She was a longtime employee at the restaurant, so she was well known to her customers as a hard worker. Just 18 years old, Yvonne dedicated herself to saving up money for college. The long hours at Waffle House were helping, but she hadn't been able to save very much yet. Yvonne was pretty excited that the restaurant was so crowded. After all, tips are how a server makes the majority of their pay, and more customers naturally mean more tips. She got down to business, taking orders and delivering hot plates of food. Unfortunately, the restaurant was understaffed on this busy day, so Yvonne had to hustle even more to cover her duties and keep up with everything. She was really running around to get things done, but as she dropped off an order at one table, she noticed something that distracted her for a moment. It was a particular customer that had drawn Yvonne's attention as she served breakfast to a table of hungry patrons. She had seen him at the restaurant several times, and he usually visited at least once every week. He was definitely a regular. The customer was a 78-year-old man named Adrian, but everyone used the affectionate nickname Mr. Karaoke instead. The Waffle House staff knew he had some health problems, and he was now carrying an oxygen tank with him. What Yvonne did next was unexpected. She was moving around nonstop to keep up with the fast pace at Waffle House that crowded day. She didn't really have any time to stop and take a break. Finally, she felt like she was catching up on all her duties. Just then, Adrian attempted to get her attention. She finally noticed Adrian's efforts to be noticed, so she walked over to the bar area where he was sitting. The elderly man started whispering to her in a quiet voice so no one else could overhear. Remember, Yvonne did not know that she was being recorded by another customer who had noticed this interaction. She had no idea she was on camera. Laura Wolf was seated in a booth located directly across from where Yvonne and Adrian were having their private conversation. She couldn't hear what they were talking about and leaned in a little closer to see if she could catch a snippet of the interaction. Laura thought the man looked to be a little embarrassed as he talked to Yvonne. Sensing that something incredible was taking place, it was then that Laura took out her camera and started filming. During the breakfast rush at a crowded Waffle House, it can be a challenge to hear anyone's voice above the din, especially the voice of an old man who was on oxygen for medical reasons. Yvonne leaned in and tried her hardest to understand Adrian, but one of the line cooks noticed that she was holding things up, something the restaurant couldn't afford on a busy day. Despite his yelling to get her attention, she ignored him and continued to listen to Adrian. At first, Yvonne thought the regular customer Adrian might have had a complaint about his food, as that's one of the most common reasons for a diner to flag down their server. In fact, after quietly whispering something to her, the old man began to push his plate of food her way. Yvonne took the plate, loaded up with ham, toast, home fries, and scrambled eggs, and pushed it right back to him. What was going on? It might sound like this interaction was taking a long time, but the entire event was only a minute or so of Yvonne's busy morning. She was completely focused on Adrian during this brief moment. All thoughts of the packed restaurant and its many hungry customers left her mind temporarily as she listened to the elderly man speak. Laura was still filming the interaction, of course, but there was another recording being made as well. In a busy restaurant like Waffle House, security cameras are increasingly important. This particular location did have a CCTV security camera setup. At the same time Laura was watching the interaction take place, the camera hanging from the ceiling was also recording everything that happened. The silent camera, barely noticed by anyone, gave a bird's-eye shot of everything happening between Yvonne and Adrian on that fateful day at a Waffle House. Laura Wolf was speechless after she witnessed the scene that had just played out in front of her. She now had several photos of Yvonne and Adrian as the waitress returned his breakfast plate to him. She struggled with what to do with the photo evidence and eventually decided to post it to her Facebook account. She shared it, not having a clue how she was about to change Yvonne's life. The astonishing scene that Laura Wolf had just watched and recorded all started when Adrian flagged down waitress Yvonne. The man was experiencing a decline in his health and was not able to perform personal tasks the way he used to. Laura thought he had seemed embarrassed or self-conscious when he talked to Yvonne. It turned out that he needed assistance cutting his breakfast ham. "I can hold a fork fine and dandy," Adrian told ABC News. "But to cut, it looks like I'm going to stab somebody," he continued. This is what he had asked of Yvonne for help cutting his food. Later, Yvonne talked about the scene at the Waffle House on that fateful morning. He was like, "My hands are not functioning too well," she said of Adrian's request. She had to really lean in to hear his question. He needed me to cut his food for him, so I did, she told ABC News. Evony took his food, cut the ham into bite-sized pieces, and pushed it all back over to him. This was pretty routine for a waitress to do with a regular customer, so Evony went about her regular day and didn't think much of it. For now, Laura felt strongly that she wanted to get the story out about what she had just witnessed. She figured Facebook would be the best place to share her photos. Here's what she posted. "I don't know her name, but I heard this elderly man tell her his hands don't work too well." Laura went on. He was also on oxygen and struggling to breathe. Without hesitation, she took his plate and began cutting up his ham. This may seem small, but to him, I'm sure it was huge. "I'm thankful to have seen this act of kindness and caring at the start of my day while everything in this world seems so negative." The post instantly affected everyone who saw it. Even while she was still at the Waffle House, Laura's posts started to get some major attention. Her phone was lighting up with alerts left and right. People shared positive things about Evony, and many of them shared Laura's posts on their own accounts. Word rapidly began to spread of this woman's kind deed. "If we could all be like this waitress and take time to offer a lending hand," was how Laura decided to close her Facebook post. Little did she know what would happen as a result. It didn't take long for Laura's post to go viral. In just a few days since she first shared it, the photos racked up 90,000 likes and nearly 50,000 shares. People were truly touched by Evony's kind act and wanted to share the heartwarming moment with their own friends and family. Adrian got attention from the post too. "Somebody told me 2 days later that I was very popular because they saw me on Facebook," he said and joked that they got a fancy picture of my suspenders in the back. It seems everyone in the town knew about Evony and Adrian. Someone influential was about to come forward. Lamarck, Texas Mayor is named Bobby Hocking. When word of Evony's good deed reached his office, he instantly wanted to meet her. It was arranged that the meeting would take place at the Waffle House, of course. The restaurant was filled with cameras for the event, which Evony had expected, but she had no idea what the mayor had planned for this special event. He wanted to honor her in front of everyone. Evony's big day arrived, and she watched as her place of employment filled with reporters and camera crews. At least this time around, she would be aware that she was being recorded. The mayor arrived and stood behind the Waffle House bar right where Evony had been when she helped Adrian with his breakfast that day. And then the mayor announced that he wanted to give a special presentation. He told the gathered crowd and news cameras that he was declaring March 8th as Evony Neen Williams Day in Lamarck, and things were about to get even better for Evony, who was already in disbelief. As Evony's story spread online, people became curious about her background. They discovered that she worked hard at Waffle House to save money for college. Residents of Lamarck started a GoFundMe to help raise tuition for her education. The fundraiser gained traction, with donations pouring in from across the country. Texas Southern University staff also heard about Evony and wanted to support her. They decided to reward her kindness by offering her a scholarship. When Evony learned about this at Waffle House, she was thrilled. The president of the university was also there to meet her and acknowledge her good deeds. In a TV interview, it was revealed that after the mayor's recognition of Evony's special holiday, the president of Texas Southern University stood behind the Waffle House bar. He surprised everyone by awarding Evony a $16,000 scholarship. Evony and the crowd were overwhelmed with joy and gratitude. Laura Wolf and Adrian, who started it all, were thrilled for Evony. They had no idea their actions would lead to such a positive outcome. Laura explained that it meant a lot to her to see Evony being recognized for her kindness. Adrian also expressed his appreciation for Evony's actions. Evony, however, remained humble, saying she did what anyone else would do. She emphasized that her actions were nothing out of the ordinary. Despite her modesty, Evony's story is a powerful example of kindness.